Welcome, everyone, to our video production and marketing training. As you know, we are here on the occasion of an innovative entrepreneurship project funded by the EU, and this is the third webinar. So we set on the path with IntroDigital because we wanted the enterprises in the among Turkish Cypriot community to be more visible, to be present in the online world. Because as you know, real life and online life are mixed with one another. So it is important for the enterprises in our community to be more visible to improve our competitiveness. And we know that videos are very important, and the experts, Kiran and Michelle, will be talking about how important videos are. But let me give you some information about us. What do we do? For those who do not know us, I would like to make a brief introduction while waiting for the other participants to join us. My name is 𝗵𝗂𝘁cie. I am the project coordinator of the Innovative Entrepreneurship project. And since 2019, we are working towards the development of entrepreneurship ecosystem in the island. We have organized several activities to this end. So among these activities, maybe some of the you're aware of some of them. For the starting up of businesses, we accept applications, and we have coding trainings, entrepreneurship trainings for young people, and we also have some preventive packages for the difficulties that enterprises face during COVID-19 to protect, maintain, and improve employment. For instance, we have financial support programs like in the form of grants. And in addition to entrepreneurship in education, we have another project called a program called Entrepreneurs Are on the Way. We have gathered entrepreneurs in 4 different regions to contribute to entrepreneurial ecosystem in the island. And we worked with Kiran in 2019 as well for digital marketing. And we have received positive feedback tremendously. And there were many requests from the enterprises, businesses. That is why in December, we decided to reintroduce this program. So we decided to organize 3 webinars. But we have such a high demand, such a high request based on the survey we did, we decided to add 2 more webinars. And tomorrow, we will start with promotion and visibility, but let me remind you that we will have programs on 3rd and 10th of January. So on Tuesdays, on 2 consecutive Tuesdays, we will be meeting. So we're going to have a break for 2 weeks. In the new year, on the 3rd of January, we'll be together with you again. Up to date, we have shared the videos of the previous trainings with those who have registered with the program. But if you have not received them, please contact us so that we can provide you with the videos. You can also have access to these videos on our social media accounts. We will put today's video on our social media accounts as well. Our expert Kiran will be in Cyprus in January, and we're going to have face-to-face workshops based on feedback we receive from you. We will be building these programs. Therefore, please keep following us through social media or the emails we send to you. We will have great programs. And let me give you a tip. In January, we also will provide consultation services on a one-to-one basis when our expert is in Cyprus. So please keep in touch with us because we want our enterprises to be more visible, not only in social media, but in the online world, on Google, etc. And to this end, we're going to have trainings for capacity building. Based on the demands coming from you, we will be shaping up the program. So without further ado, and we now have 25 participants, I would like to give the floor to Michelle. Michelle.
Thank you very much, and everyone, welcome today to our presentation on video production and marketing. And as Malika had just had alluded to, video production and marketing is so important in today's world, both online and offline, to really showcase the services, the experiences, everything that you have to offer with your business. It's a really good way of reaching out to your audience and really showcasing what you can do and what service or product you can provide. So I look forward to taking you through a range of different tips, hopefully, to help you plan as well for video, not just about filming, but also planning and what do you do with it once it is created. So please feel free to ask any questions throughout the presentation and just drop them into the chat. And I will answer them as I go, but I will also leave some time at the end for questions as well. So without further ado, I'll get started. So what we're going to look at today is we're going to think about, well, why should we do video in our business? We're going to look at the different types of videos that you might record or film or produce. We're going to look at the different types of content that you would produce. We're going to look at how to create a video plan, what sort of things you should be considering when you're creating that plan. We're going to look at the different filming tips, creating a video, some tips around filming using your mobile phone. And I would say here that this is not about having lots of expensive professional equipment. It is about actually using what you have at hand, your mobile phone, a very simple setup. Because I know we are not trained videographers, so we want to actually be able to make this useful and be able to just go out and make these videos for our business. And what we do once we create those videos, how do we market them, how do we promote them, and where are we putting them on social media and our websites? So if you don't mind, I'm just going to start with a little poll. I'll launch the poll now just to see who is actually using video in their business so far. Has anyone used it? Are they using it frequently? Just a quick little question. So I give a few minutes just for people to be able to have a chance to offer or to answer that. A few people left just to answer. Okay, brilliant. It's great to see that we're almost 50-50. So of the participants we have here, we have, it is nearly a 50-50. I'll share those results just so you can see them. It's really interesting, actually. We're seeing businesses using video more and more, and it's really great to see that starting to filter through because it's such a useful resource. So hopefully you're going to find this useful. If you are using video already, how to kind of take it to the next level. And if you haven't started, this is a really good place to start thinking about it and taking some action. So I'll stop sharing those results now. So let's look at then why video. So I suppose the main reason consumers, customers, clients love video is because it's entertaining, it's engaging, and it's easy to digest. Its versatility makes it easy to share across multiple platforms as well. So allows you to expand your audience, and it gets to the point very quickly. If we think about content in the past, maybe 10 or 15 years ago, it was all blog content, it was all written content, and videos, although people were using them, were very expensive and they were seen as a nice to have item. now, because of the social media, the YouTube channels, the TikTok channels, video has now become an expectation of your customers and your clients. People want to see it. They expect to see it. So it's something that I don't think we can avoid in our businesses. We need to just jump in and get started. If we look at some stats on mobile alone, YouTube reaches more 18 to 49-year-olds than any broadcast or cable TV network. So people are actually using YouTube as a place not only to go and find information or to research things, but also for their entertainment channel. So you think about the audience that's on there and those people that want to buy your services or your products, they're on there and they're searching on YouTube. And we've got to remember that YouTube is the world's second largest search engine. So people are going to Google first and YouTube second. So if you do not have video content there around your business and the services and the products that you produce, you're not being found. And if we think about how Google search has changed in the last 4 to 5 years, you will find that there are more and more video searches or video results being brought up as a #1 search result. And these are being pulled in from YouTube. So if you are already in a video journey and you haven't set up your own video or your own YouTube channel, it's something that you might want to have a think about and getting it set up and actually using those videos on there as well, because people are searching and it is becoming more and more prevalent. So we're going to think about the different types of content, and I'm going to take you through some different types of video content that you might create. You might want to create a variety of different content for your business, or you might stick with one style to begin with and then branch out, and that's absolutely fine. There's going to be lots of different styles of content that are suitable for your business, and it's good to try a variety, and others may not work for you right now, but it might work in a different situation. So it is important just to have a wee think about what is going to work for your business and what best shows off your services or your products. It's good to think about trying different styles. So it might be that you start off trying just talking to camera or doing a voiceover, and you get comfortable with that. It's then time to branch out and try something a little bit new, because we want to keep our audience engaged and we want to keep them entertained. So any ideas you can pop into the chat if you've got any ideas of different types of content that you have used, that you find have worked well in your business, and pop them in the chat and people can have a look at them and see if they're going to get some inspiration, and you can just do that throughout today. So I'm just going to take you through some different types of video that you might consider for your business, or that you might already be using and you might want to branch out and try something new. So the first type of video we're going to talk about is face to camera. Face to camera works very, very well if you want to show a bit of personality behind your business. If you're the business owner or you have team or staff members that you really want to get people to be able to engage with and to relate to, face to camera is a really, really nice way of doing that. And it's probably one of the easiest to film, because you're just having a very, very simple setup. You're not having to put in lots of other pieces of information. You're literally just having someone chatting on camera. Again, someone who you would find in your business that is confident on there and knows what they want to say and get that point across. But it's a great way to showcase products, to talk about services, and to add a bit of personality to the business. If you think about people coming online and they're seeing lots and lots of information from websites and blogs and written content, and then a video pops up with the business owner or someone who's prominent in your business, it just gives a bit of personality and allows people to relate a little bit more to you and your business, and to understand you and your business a little bit more. So it is a really, really good way to get started with video if you're not using that at all. And it's a great way to actually interact with your audience and engage them and show them the face behind the video and the face behind the business. So it is definitely a really, really good way to get started. So let's take the next step then. I'll just grab a wee drink and let you all catch up. Okay, the next type of video are tips and advice or how-to videos. These are really, really well received. And when we think about video, we think of 3 or 4 different things. We think about entertainment, we think about education, we think about inspiration. And that's generally what people are looking for when they're thinking about video content. They want to be entertained, they want to be inspired to do something, or they want to be educated. Tips and advice and how-to videos are a really, really good way of providing that education piece. They're also really easy to make because you know your business inside out, you know your services, you know your products. So basically all you're doing is maybe showcasing how to use your product in the best way, and how to use your service in the best way, how your service can actually help someone in a better way. So how-to is so important in terms of SEO or search engine optimization as well. It's one of the most searched terms in the world in Google every day. So how to do anything is one of the most searched terms. So it's really important in terms of a search term as well to be able to consider that. And these are a great way of just providing tips and advice to your customers to really showcase the benefits of your products or your services, to showcase why people should buy your products or services, and to give them a bit of an education, because it's great to say, I have this brilliant product and you want to buy it. Well, how does it actually help someone's life? How does it improve their life? Why would they want to buy it, or why do they need it? And being able to provide a little video on tips or advice is able to support that. And this is a video we made about how to make a mocktail. A Cinderella mocktail. It's one of the most popular videos on our YouTube channel organically. I can't remember the last count how many views it had, but it was well over 100,000. And it's just amazing that people just want to find out how to make this mocktail. So if you're in a restaurant or running a bar or anything like that, even those simple how-to videos work really, really well. Okay, moving on. So client and customer testimonials. There are no better way of showcasing your products and services by having someone else tell your story, have someone else tell their story of how they have utilized your products or services in their own lives. There's nothing more authentic than actually having a real life person come on and say, look, I bought this. It worked really well for X, Y, and Z. I'm really pleased with it. I'd recommend it. It's a brilliant endorsement for your business, but it also allows people back to that idea of relating to your audience. It allows people to relate because they are customers and they want to be able to relate to other customers. And if you can find some willing customers or clients that would be able to come on camera and talk about the services or the products that they have used, it is absolute gold dust. To be able to put those, say, for example, out on your social media or onto your website, because it shows that someone has actually went to the hassle and has made the effort to come onto camera to talk about your product. So it must be good. And again, I would keep these very, very authentic and real. I wouldn't have these scripted, because we want to make sure that you are able to connect with your audience, and we want people to be very real on there and allow people to understand how they're using your product or service. But it's a really, really nice way of being able to create a bigger library of video content as well that's not always reliant on you, because I know as business owners or as senior people within the business, you have a lot going on. And sometimes when you think about making videos, it's just another thing to add on that layer. So can you get other people to support you in that, making those videos and that journey, by asking clients or customers? Customer experience is another really, really nice way of showcasing, especially a service or a product. If you have customers actually participating in an experience, in an event, in using your product, can you actually showcase that via video? So this was a video that we had actually made for Belfast's cookery school. It was a cookery experience. So it was a cooking class. You came on the day and the chef showed you how to cook, and then you take the food off to your own little stations, and then you cook it following his instructions. And this was a really, really brilliant video in terms of it actually showed the experience of what you were going to get as a customer. You were able to connect with the customer and showcase, look, if you come for this experience, if you pay for this service, this is what you're going to expect. We were able to showcase, people having fun, laughter, the value of the experience. And that was so much easier to do with video than writing an article about it or just showing some photos. This really was able to connect with the audience and to really showcase what people were going to get in return for that payment or buying that ticket. So it's a great way of being able to really showcase, yes, your product is good. Yes, your service is good, but can you actually show your customers experiencing those products? Can you show them involved in those experiences? And that will really, really allow you to connect with that audience as well. Events are another great way of showcasing what you do. So if you have events throughout your business calendar, that could be, it could be webinars, it could be presentations, it could be trade shows, it could be education days, it could be product launches. Anything in terms of events is a great way, again, to just showcase the buzz, the excitement around your products or your services. Especially things like product launches work very, very well for video, where you can really showcase that excitement and that buzz and that atmosphere. It really gives people an insight into, I suppose, the whole process and that celebration piece as well. So if you do have any events on your calendar or you're attending events on behalf of your business, you can also bring those into the videos as well. So for example, if you were going to a trade fair or a trade show, actually showcasing that you're there via video is a really great way of just showcasing your business and the different journey that you're taking as well, because people really want to know. I think that's what is very exciting for me about video, is that people see businesses as kind of faceless entities, but video allows you to break down that barrier and showcase the people behind the business, the journey, the challenges, all the fun, the fun things that happen throughout the day in terms of being able to get your products and your services out there. So it's a very exciting medium to be able to use to really connect with that audience. And back to, again, the fact that as business owners and startups and everybody on their different business journeys, we're all very, very busy. And this is another way of reaching out to our users, our customers, our clients within our business community to create content on our behalf. If you look at YouTube, if you look at TikTok, if you look at all the stories and the reels that are out there at the minute, they're all user-generated content. We are past the days where video was seen as this very, very specialized art, where everything had to be perfect and the sound had to be perfect and the lighting had to be perfect and the setting had to be perfect. We're not there anymore because of YouTube, because of TikTok, because of Instagram stories and Facebook reels and all of those things. We are definitely in a completely different stage in our video journeys, and user-generated content is not only totally accepted, but actually really, really enjoyed and is very, very authentic. It can be very raw. It doesn't have to be beautifully filmed and put together, but it is a really great way of building a bank and having real authentic content. So can you reach out to your users of your products or your services, ask them to create a little video, ask them to just showcase using your product, showcase a meal at your restaurant, showcase coming into drinks, showcase buying your product and how they use it in their daily life. And this is a brilliant media or mode of content to be able to put out onto social media that people love, and more importantly, engage with and connect with, because there's no point in us creating lots and lots of video content if we're not connecting with our audiences and our audiences are not engaging with it. And this is a great way to be able to do that. So definitely, if you do have an active audience online, socially, or on your social networks, or in your business community, reach out to them and ask. And if we think about the younger generation coming up, they are all digital natives. A lot of you on here will be within that sphere as well. And they are so used to having video in their lives that they're not worried about being on camera and making video. So don't forget to ask people to give you content as well. It doesn't always have to fall on you to make all the content. Interviewing is another really nice style that you can do. So could you interview a member of staff, talking through your product or service? What are they going to get if they come in and avail of your service or your product? Could you interview a user of your product? Again, a little bit more informal than a testimonial or a customer giving a review. This is a little bit more informal, where you actually really drill down and you have a chat with someone. It becomes a lot more informal. You can also take that audio and make it into a podcast as well. So again, repurposing that content. It doesn't always have to be video. You can pull that audio off the video and make it into a podcast. But again, a really nice style that's a little bit different, takes a little bit of pressure off you as well. And you just basically have some really nice questions around your service or your product. And it could be a team member that you're interviewing. It could be a supplier. It could be someone that's working with you, a partner. It could be a partner business. So definitely lots of opportunities there. And it's one that I think people miss. People get very broad, I suppose, caught up in everything has to be them doing everything. It doesn't. You can actually have other people in those videos to take a little bit of the pressure off as well. So do think about that as another option. And then vlogging as well. Back to the idea of YouTube being really, really acceptable really accepting of people doing different styles, different levels of quality, different types of video. Could you vlog a little bit about your day in your business? Could you vlog a little bit about showcasing your products or your services? And a vlog is very raw. It is literally a selfie stick or setting a camera up and just having a chat as you're doing something that's part of your daily business life. And these work really well because people are, should I say, nosy? They like to know everything about businesses and what's happening, and they like to see the behind the scenes. And this is a great way of showcasing behind the scenes. It's that footage, it's that little glimpse that people don't see of a business. The deliveries and all the deliveries coming in and them going out, and the journey of how one service is built and how it goes from X to Z, and it's X, Y, and Z, and how it gets through that process. So really, really great way of showcasing how your business runs in the background and the behind the scenes. And a vlog is a really good way to do that. The beauty with the vlog as well is you don't need loads of preparation because it is quite informal. So you don't need to be writing a script. It's just basically going on camera and having a little bit of a chat and talking through what you're up to that day. The last type of video I'm going to talk about today, and there's lots of different videos out there as well, and it'd be interesting to see if anyone puts into the chat what sort of videos they have tried or are working on. Another nice one, and this is a really nice one if you haven't done any video and you're still a wee bit worried about being on camera or talking on camera, is a voiceover. A voiceover is a really nice way of, again, just getting a little bit more personality, a little bit of information in about a product or service without having to physically be on camera. So if you're still a little bit camera shy and you're still building up the confidence to go onto camera, a voiceover is a really, really nice way of being able to record a video and still be able to produce content for your business. So do you have photos, images, or videos of your product? Could you talk through how they're used? And you don't actually need to be on camera. Is a really good way of just getting started. So for all those people that are camera shy, you have no excuse. This is a perfect way of being able to start your video journey. It also means as well, if you are a little bit shy and you feel that you need to really, really prepare, you can prepare a script and then just read the script out and record your voice. And it gives you a little bit more confidence and a little bit more reassurance that you have everything that you want to include. If you don't feel that you're ready just to go on to camera yet, this is a really good starting point. So I would challenge you, if you haven't started yet and you're still a little bit reluctant, this is a really good starting point. Okay, I'll take a little sip of water and I'll let you just digest this next slide. Okay, so we've kind of talked about the different video types. What we want to think about next is, that's fine. You've decided that you might want to try video and you've thought about the different types of content that are out there, and you've maybe decided that I want to do a voiceover, or I'm going to try face to camera, or I'm going to start with an interview. That's all really, really good. But we really need to think about creating our plan, our video plan. From experience, and we would do a lot of videos. I would spend a lot of time planning videos and animations. It's so important, and the planning's almost nearly more important than the actual filming of the video. And the reason why I'm saying that is videos do take time to make. They're not done in 5 minutes. It's not the same as writing a social media post, but it is worthwhile. They do take time to make. So it's important that when we do take that time out of our business to create this content, it's important that it's meaningful. It's important that it has a purpose. It's important that it's actually going to reach the audience that we want to reach. And in order to be able to do that, we really need to plan our videos and really think about what we want to get out of those videos. What is the outcome? What do we want people to do once they've watched it? Because it's not just about making a nice video about your service or a nice video about your product. It's actually about making the video and then asking your customers or clients to carry out an action after it. And that could be a range of different things. So here are a list of key things that you probably want to consider before you even pick up that mobile phone or you even think about filming. And these are really, really important questions to consider. So first of all, what are people searching for is really, really important. So if you think about your service or your product or your business, what area what are people searching for when they're looking for your product or your service? What are they typing into Google? What are they looking for in the market? What phrases are they using? Think about all those things, because that's going to be really, really key. You want to be making content or video content that actually matches the criteria of what people are looking for. If people are not searching for it and are not looking for it, they're very unlikely they're going to find it. So you're making content that people don't really want to see, which is a massive waste on your time and resources. So have a think about what people are actively searching for online. And a really good way of doing that is like asking your family, asking your friends, talking about your products and services with them and saying to them a simple thing like, if you were looking for my service, what would you be typing into Google? If you were looking for my product, what sort of questions would you be asking? And those are the sorts of starting points that you want to think about and then move on from there around your video planning process. The second thing you maybe want to think about is the purpose. What is the purpose of this video? Is it to educate people about your product? Is it to convert people to buy your product? Is it about sales? Is it about just information? Is it a product launch? Is it to talk people through your services and what you provide and how that benefits their lives? Is it a quick, short, snappy, we are here video? What is that purpose? Because again, the purpose of a video that's explaining a product will be very different to the purpose of a video that's showcasing who you are as a business. So you want to think about what that purpose is before you start filming. The next thing you want to consider is your audience. So who are you talking to with this video? The video you make for 50-year-old men is going to be slightly different to the video you make for 18-year-old ladies. So have a think about your audience, and that will shape the type of music you possibly use. That will shape the type of language you use. It will shape the imagery that you use within the video. So it's really, really important that you think about that audience, and think about the idea that one size doesn't always fit all. So if you really, really want to think about a market that's servicing families, you may want to really think about that audience and what they're looking for. And they will be different to maybe a couple who don't have any children. You'll be targeting different people. You'll be using different styles. So have a think about that, because it's really, really important. There's no point in trying to connect with everyone all at the same time. If you have a very, very specific audience segmentation, you need to think about that. The next thing we want to think about as well is storytelling, telling your story. So again, people love to know the backstory. They love to know how you arrived at creating your product, how you arrived at creating your service, what your level of expertise is. How did you get where you are? What's your reputation? Why are you better than your competitors? And all of this is done through telling your story, and people love to hear that story. So please don't shy away from it. People love that story interweaving into videos. So do feel free to think about, well, what is that little beginning, middle, and end of that story? Where, that About Us video, if you're telling people your About Us story, how did we get where we were? What does make us stand out against our competitors? What does make us special? That all comes through that storytelling piece. And this is another really key question. Are you solving a problem with your video content? Do you constantly have customers, clients asking questions? And these are the 2 points, and the next 2 points are kind of intertwined. So are you solving a problem, or are you answering a question? If you think about customers who are contacting you, asking the same questions, it could be about a product, it could be about a service. Could you make a video and answer that question? Could you make a video showcasing how your products or your services solve those problems? Back to that that information of connecting with your audience and actually solving and solving those problems and making sure that your product matches their requirements. Back to that, what are people searching for? If we're solving problems and we're answering questions in those videos, it means not only is it a more efficient way for you to actually connect with your audience and answer all those questions, so you don't have to answer phone calls or emails, but also it gives your clients or your customers a sense of value. They've watched the video and they've learned something. They've watched the video and they've learned something about you. They've learned something about your service. They've learned something about your product, and you're already giving them value before they've even parted with any money. So it's about giving them that value and actually making value of their time. So if they are going to have the time to sit down and watch your video and your content, you want to give them that value. So it is important to think about, are you solving a problem? Are you answering questions? And a great way I've seen recently, a lot of businesses actually doing their FAQs via video. And it's a great way of connecting with your audience and just being a little bit more, I suppose, reactive and proactive to your audience. So definitely have a wee think about that. This is probably one of the most important things in part of a video is your call to action. And I can't emphasize enough how important this is and how many people forget about this. What do you want people to do when they get to the end of the video? Do you want them to share the video? Do you want them to connect with you on social media? Do you want them to send you an email query? Do you want them to buy your product? Do you want them to contact you via the website? Do you want feedback on your product? give people a call to action, because what will happen is you create a video, people will get to the end, and if there's nothing to say like, oh, contact us now, or why not pop over to our website, or why not buy a ticket to our event? If you're not giving people that call to action, they will just move off very quickly and forget about you very quickly. So we want to make sure that we're saying to people, look, you've watched our content. If you like it, here are some actions that you can take. And it doesn't always have to be sales related. It could be literally, can we get some feedback? It could be sign up to our newsletter. It could be pop over to our website and see what else we have on offer. So it doesn't always have to be sales. It can be other things as well. And it's back to adding that value to your customer. Do you have a newsletter that they can avail of? Do you have a YouTube channel they can pop over and see more tutorial or how-to videos? Are you posting on social media where they can get value and go and find out more information about your product? So have a real think about that, and make sure that you're putting that in, because a lot of videos I see, unfortunately, are missing that piece of that call to action. And what happens is you miss that opportunity to hook or continue that loop with your client. And the last thing I'm going to say is plan. So important. If you're not planning all of these things and thinking about all of these elements before you start your video will not be as impactful, and it will not reach the audiences that you want it to reach. And again, we want to make use of that time that we're taking to make those videos. So it is really, really important to just take that half an hour, take that hour to sit down and think about what you want to do and what you want to get out of this video. Okay, and a little tool that I'll mention there is a really, really good way back to the what are people searching for. This is a tool called Uber Suggest. It's free. You get probably, I think it's free searches a day, but there's loads of tools out there, and feel free to email Kieran and myself if you need some help with that, and we can give you some more of those tools that are out there. But this is a great way of just seeing what people are actually searching for online. And I just did a very simple one, things to do in Belfast. If I was a restaurant, a cookery school, offering a service, and people wanted to come to this service, what would they type in? Maybe things to do in Belfast. And what it will do is it will give you things like search volume. So on here, you'll see that there's 1,600 people searching for that search term every single month. So it gives you an idea to say, oh, right, hold on, that's what people are searching for. It will give you other suggestions as well of other things that people are searching for using those phrases and words. So things like things to do in Belfast, what to do in Belfast, things to do in Belfast with kids, fun things to do in Belfast. So it's a really great way of just taking 2 minutes to find out what people are typing into search. And this then starts to give you an idea of what content you're going to produce. So from this search, I might be starting to make a series of 3 or 4 different videos. One might be just generally things to do in Belfast. One might be something to do that's focused on things to do in Belfast with children. One might be fun things to do in Belfast. And they're all slightly different videos, but all targeting those key search terms that people are searching for. Because again, no point in creating content that people are not searching for or people are not finding it useful. So again, if you need that little link, we can get that sent across to you. So there's no worries there. So I'm going to move on because I am aware of time, and we're going to have a think about top tips for actually creating videos. So you've decided that you're going to make video, you've decided on the type of video you're going to make, you've really planned it and you're really organized and you know what you're going to do. So now it's actually getting to that video production piece, and what sort of things do you need to consider? Again, I want to reiterate that it's important that we're not thinking about, I am not talking about you going out and buying lots of really expensive equipment for a couple of reasons. A, most businesses can't afford to buy loads of expensive equipment, especially in the current state that we are in the world. But secondly, when businesses do go out and they buy this equipment, they don't have the skills to be able to use it. If you think about somebody who's trained to use this equipment, they maybe went to university or college for 2 to 3 years. it's very unlikely that we're going to be able to just pick it up and start using it. So there's no better equipment than your mobile phone. Phones today have just as good a camera as most of the bigger equipment that people are buying, and don't really know all the settings anyway. So it is really, there's no excuse to get started in terms of equipment. Mobile phones are perfectly acceptable and will do an amazing job. And we have actually made full 20-30 minute videos all on mobile phones and edited them on mobile phones as well. So please don't let that be a barrier to getting started with video. So the first thing we want to talk about is lighting. So lighting is very, very important. What you don't want to do is have a video that is really dark and dreary and people can't really see you, because it kind of puts people off. So how can we make sure that that lighting is good without a full lighting setup in a studio? Well, really, really easily. Can you find a position, a place with plenty of natural light? Natural light is your friend. It's the best type of lighting that you're going to get, even better than studio lighting, because it will make you look so much better and it will make the scene look so much better. So if you can find somewhere where there's plenty of natural light, and don't be afraid to film outside as well, as long as it's not obviously near a really busy road or really loud somewhere. Feel free to film outside as well, because that works really well too. And sometimes you can add a little bit of movement to your videos that way. If you are in a situation where you're in an office or you're inside or you're in quite a darkened area, always face the light. The temptation really, really is to, if you go into an office and you're going to talk to camera, the temptation is always to have the window behind you, and it's just natural. But the problem with that, what happens with that is the light then comes around your head and it puts a shadow on your face. So it makes your face very, very dark, and you're not being able to avail of that lovely natural light. So swap your little setting around and always have the light come onto your face rather than having it behind you. And it's a really simple thing to do. And most people naturally will always put a window behind them. So if you can swap that situation around and actually have that light coming onto your face, it will really make a lot of difference. And the same with your product. If it's a product you're filming, have the product with the light coming onto it. LED lights are a really good value option. So if you do want to say, right, okay, it's a really dark situation, I don't have any light, I don't have a window in the room, or it's a very dark room, and you want to buy a small piece of equipment, something like an LED light, which are not overly expensive, can be a really good option. And they go up to very, very bright, and they also come with little different filters and things on there. But again, lighting really important. Just have a think about your scenario around you and how you can improve it by using what you have. The next thing we're going to talk about is setting. So again, this all comes as part of the plan as well, because you're going to think about, when you're planning this video, where is it going to take place, and have I got everything in place that I want to have, and aesthetically, how does it look? So keeping the shot clean can make any clip look better. So if you're going to be filming in your office or somewhere else in your business, not having loads of stuff around you, so not like bookcases with loads of books and ornaments and things behind you, can make the shot look very busy. But more important, what happens is it can distract people. So if I'm talking to you and I've got loads of stuff in the background, people are maybe looking at that, they're not paying attention to what I'm saying. So you want it to look professional and you want it to look clean and tidy. So making sure that you do have something similar or something very, very plain behind you is a really, really nice way of making it aesthetically pleasing and keeping people's attention. Fine to have a few things around. And obviously if you're filming an event or you're going to showcase a factory floor or something more exciting, yes, of course, it can be as busy as anything, but the busier it is, the less talking I would do, because you don't want it to be just too overwhelming for people. Framing is really, really important. So obviously depending on your screen size, if you see how I'm even just framed in this shot on camera, you want to just make sure you have a wee bit of headroom. So what you don't want to do is be very, very into the camera. I'm going to scare everyone now. But because it is a wee bit scary for people when you're right into the camera. So making sure that you have a nice adequate piece of headroom and that you're central in the shot is a really nice way of making sure that people are enjoying your content, and again, not being distracted. If you're using a mobile phone, most modern mobile phones will have something called Focus AE Lock mode. I don't know if you've ever used it before, but basically when you pull up your video on your mobile phone, you will see it's usually a yellow square on Apple. I think it's a yellow square on some Android phones again, but you can search for it on the internet if you don't see it on your phone. And basically what it does is you basically pull that little square onto whoever you're focusing on. So whether that be a person or a subject or an object, and hold that in. What that will do is it will actually focus on that object and it won't move. Because if you think about filming on a mobile phone, the mobile phone will be constantly looking to see movement and will follow movement. So it actually, by putting this AE lock mode on, it will actually focus on the subject and making sure that you don't get blur and you don't get lots of different light changes, especially where you guys are filming, where it's nice and bright and sunny. You'll want to put that on because the light changes frequently. What you'll get is you'll get somebody's face will be in shadow, then it'll be really bright white, then it might be actually the white balance will drop and it'll be really, really pale. So you want to actually use something like that to keep that light balance and also to keep that movement balance. And it's just a matter of dragging onto your subject and holding it in. And it's a really nice feature on most phones that will allow you to do that and keep that shot from being blurred or being a really strange colouring. Okay, audio, really, really important, especially if you're going to be doing something that's educational and that's talking about your product, that's providing tips, tutorials. People will forgive shaky shots. They will forgive bad lighting. They will forgive a messy background, but what they won't forgive if you're trying to tell somebody something and they can't hear it and the audio is bad, they will find that very, very difficult. So I would always say if you're going to have to choose something, I would make sure, especially if it's going to be very content heavy, that you think about the audio that you're using. So if you're talking on your video, obviously be sensible, choose where the noise levels are appropriate. So you don't want to be shouting. You don't want to have lots of noise behind you, like filming near a busy road or filming at an event where there's lots of noise and things happening. Really, really important. If you want to make that audio a little bit crisper, a little bit cleaner, you could do something like a lavalier mic. And again, very, very inexpensive. You can plug it into your phone. You can plug it into your laptop, and it will also, what it will do is it will be focused more on your voice. It will still pick up background noise, but not as much. So it's something that if you wanted to, you're going to be doing a lot of talking to camera, you were going to be providing a lot of content that you would want to think about reducing that background noise. You could use something like a lav mic. Interestingly, somebody has just asked a question, which is great. Is there an ideal duration for video production for the promotion of a product or telling a story? And that's a really, really interesting question. And one that I will get to when we talk about the different social media networks and what works on there. So if you don't mind, I will come back to that question because it does vary depending on where you want to put that video, is what I would say, and what that story is that you have to tell. So I will come back to that question in a few slides, if that's okay. So music is also really, really important. Music can really take a video up a level in terms of professionalism. So if you have a little bit of subtle background music, especially if you're doing something like a product video or telling a story, back to that question, it can work really, really well. But it is important, and this is something that I would say, that you use royalty-free music to avoid any copyright violations. If any of you that have a YouTube channel will know that YouTube is very, very hot it will be able to pick up infringements on copyright before you even hit publish on that video. So it is really, really important that you don't use music that you have borrowed from someone else or from a CD or anything like that, because you will get into trouble. And also be mindful that even just background music. So for example, just to put it into context, we were creating a vlog piece of content. The car radio was on. There was music on the car radio playing. And when we loaded it up to YouTube, that was actually pulled up for copyright. So we didn't publish it. So it does just be super careful with that music. And also about choosing appropriately. So think about the style of the music that you want to reach. And again, music is a great way of segmenting those audiences. So the music that you may choose for 20-somethings might be different to people in their 50s. And it will change the style and the flow of your video really, really easily. So it's a great way of being able to mix up your videos and actually help them become more stylized depending on the audience that you want to speak to. So do choose appropriately and have it play at a relevant volume. So for example, if you're showing like cutaways or just shots of your product, you might have the music up a little bit, and then you might lower it down if you're going to be talking about the product, and then put it back up again. So think about those volume levels as you go through. And there's lots of really, really, really simple editing apps out there as well that can help you with all of this as you go through. Okay, graphics. Again, another amazing way of being able to take your video up a level in terms of professionalism. So if we think about videos that we're creating that are authentic, that are a little bit raw, that are self-created, adding a bit of text or a bit of graphics can really make sure that your video becomes more professional and that you're giving people more information. So they can be really, really useful for things like adding on-screen information. So if you want to put prices of your products or information about where you can buy your products or information about your services, you can also put information about people, information about yourself. And you'll see that what we would call the lower thirds coming in when you see professional videos done. You'll see a little thing will come in, a bit like I suppose Zoom has Michelle at Profiles, where you will come in with your position in the business, or that could be a product name comes in with a price. And again, it just gives your videos a little bit different feel. You can also put your company logo in there. So again, if you want to really make that brand awareness start to come through, you can start to brand your videos as well with that logo. And again, gives people a sense of authenticity, gives people a sense of knowing the product and knowing you as a brand, and allows to help for that professionalism as well. Photos, don't forget about photos, can also be used throughout the video to mix it up. So you don't always just have to have video. You can also have photos in there. So if you've got, say, for example, you've just got a new product range or a new service range in, and you've done a photo shoot, but you don't have video of it yet, feel free to use those as well. Don't be caught up that video always just has to be video. You can use photos and graphics in there as well. And also graphics are a great way to tell that story piece as well. If you don't want to be speaking on camera or you don't have a voiceover, you can actually do that with text. So, don't forget about that either. Okay. Intros and outros are again really great, really important for brand awareness, and really important for calls to action as well. So an intro straight screen, and I would again reiterate the fact that these are short and sharp. They're only like 2 to 3 seconds. You don't want to be putting people off by doing a big long intro with a logo coming in and information, because again, it will put people off. You've probably got about 2 seconds to grab somebody's attention. So these have to be short and sharp, but an introduction screen is a great way to help develop consistency and to introduce your business. So that could be just a simple logo, a little title, something that just gives people that connection to say, oh, that's a video from such and such. I have saw them before. That's a video from that product. I like that product. I'm going to watch that video. So it helps with brand awareness and helps with brand consistency. And again, helps with the professionalism. So if you imagine you go on to your YouTube channel or your social media and you've got these nice introduction screens that come onto your video, it makes people feel that it's a really good, solid brand and that you're starting to get that awareness built up. Your outro screen is where we really think about that call to action. And again, so important, even more important than the introduction screen is that, is it an email address? Is it a phone number? Is it a website address? What is it? Do we have information that we want to give people? And putting it on the video is a great way of doing that. So do think about that outro screen and reiterating that call to action. So even though you may say in your video, we do have a newsletter, we'd love you to sign up, put your link to your website in there as well on that end screen, just to allow people to, again, see it and be reminded. So really, really important. Okay, some top tips for actually creating some shots and thinking about how you're going to use that mobile phone to do something maybe a little bit different as well. I mean, start simple is my biggest piece of advice. You don't need to start having all this movement and all different shots happening. Just start really, really simple. It can be just very static video and then progress from there once you feel more comfortable. So I would say once you have got 1 or 2 videos under your belt, you might want to start using a variety of shots, because what we want to do is we want to keep people engaged. So if you can imagine, unfortunately, you've all had to listen to me for the last hour, just looking straight at me. It's probably not as engaging as watching a movie or something else where there's all different things happening and different angles and different shots. That's what we want to do with our own videos for our products and services. We don't always just want to create videos where we're just talking to people. So think about different even angles and different ways of showcasing, even if it is just a talking video. Can you use a wide shot, which is giving a scene around you? So that might be showcasing your office. It might be a shot from outside your building or where your premises are, if you have premises. It might showcase in your signage and you outside, and that's that big, nice, wide opening shot that gives people a bit of context about who you are. Medium shots, probably where we are now, so kind of so from the torso up. Close up is great for products and showcasing fine detail. So don't be afraid to use it. I wouldn't face the camera. Close up isn't always great, but it depends on what your subject matter is. Over the shoulder is another really nice perspective. So giving people, showcasing something that's happening, if somebody's making something or somebody's doing something, even over the shoulder onto a computer screen, if somebody's working, is a nice perspective just to mix it up and try to do something a little bit different. And then thinking about different heights and perspectives. And one of the most interesting videos I had seen in the last couple of months was one at a wedding. And basically what they did is they actually put the mobile phone on the floor, and the perspective was all the ladies' shoes coming into the wedding. And they just filmed on the ground, and you saw the lovely different shoes that everybody was wearing coming into the wedding. And it was so different, rather than just seeing people walking into the wedding. It was a completely different perspective. So different heights and perspectives can work really well, especially as well if you're showcasing, something happening and you can take it from height. And just gives people a little bit of a different perspective and a different angle, and allows you to showcase, your products or your service in a slightly different way. It also allows you to change the angle, although the content might be the same. You can dot that around. Camera movements, again, I would avoid doing too much camera movement, especially if you've just started. The worst thing is when you see a video and there's just people moving everywhere and the camera's moving everywhere, and it can be quite hard and quite jarring to watch. So if you're going to do some movement, which I would advise once you get a little bit more comfortable, think about making those movements very, very smooth and simple. So a pan is what we're just talking from having your phone in your hand and you're just panning from left to right very, very, very slowly. Tilting up and down. So you're literally tilting again up from the ground and back down again very slowly and very smoothly. And then a slide, slightly different from a pan. It's a bit sharper. So you're just actually having the camera going side to side. And that can work really, really well, especially if you're trying to cut between different shots and introduce different elements within there. So think about those movements, but try to keep them smooth and slow, because again, quick movements distracts people, but it also makes people think, oh, that doesn't quite work. So have we think about how you do that movement and think a little bit more before just jumping into it. So once we think about that we're ready to film and we've thought about how we've planned it and everything, again, depending on the style of the video that you're going to do, if you're going to be doing a talking video, a face to camera, or having some talking to do, I would plan what you want to say. And I would say about 3 to 5 key points, especially per clip, because if you think about what you want to say, you want to be to the point. You want to get your point across. You want to get the key elements across. And if you start with nothing planned, what can happen is you start talking and then you kind of go off in a direction that maybe you shouldn't go into. And your video goes from being a 2-minute video to a 20-minute video, which you don't necessarily need or want. So I would always say plan what you want to say in 3 to 5 points before you start, and keep those points quite succinct and to the point. A really nice tip is if you're using your mobile phone to enable flight mode, there's nothing worse than getting into the flow of a video and you get a phone call coming in or you get someone sending you a message and it pauses your video. So I would definitely say enable flight mode, and it allows you then to be filming uninterrupted. Position your phone slightly below eye level and look at the camera lens. Again, it's about connecting with your audience. If you are looking over here, if I was talking to you and I was looking here and I was doing this and looking up in the sky, you'd be thinking, what is she looking at? You wouldn't be listening to me. You'd be looking at, what am I looking at? So it's really, really important, especially if you're doing face to camera, that you engage with your audience and that you're talking to them. So constantly looking at the camera lens and making sure that you're actually talking to your audience as opposed to looking around the place, because it can be very distracting for people. Stabilize the camera, and we'll talk a little bit about that in the next slide. And what I would say as well is pause for a few minutes before you start talking and at the end. And the reason for that is, it will help you if you're doing any editing on the video, but also it gives you time to catch your breath and you're not starting or ending a video in the middle of mid-sentence or while you're still finishing talking. So before I would start a video, I always just take a pause, compose myself, get ready before I want to speak, and then you can just cut that little bit out in editing. But what it means is you're talking from a point where you're organized. So if you think about you're stopping and you're taking your pause. Today, we're going to talk about video marketing. So it becomes way more professional and you're starting off at a really good point. And the same at the end. And I suppose I'm going to say something maybe a bit quite weird here, but I would always end as well and hold your smile and hold your facial expression at the end. It looks weird and it feels weird when you're doing it, but again, it stops you being cut off very abruptly, or it stops you being tempted to look away and think, oh, I've done the video. And it's very hard to cut that in editing. So I would get to the end when I would just say, and thank you all for watching today. And then cut. And it just gives you that opportunity to be able to have that cut, as opposed to say, and thank you all for watching today. And then I'm turning away, turning my camera off. And how do I cut that without it looking very messy at the end? So have a wee think about that as well. Somebody actually asked a question there about if you're using mobile phone, should we record vertical or horizontal? Really, really, really great question. It depends again where you're going to put your video. Unless you're specifically filming for the likes of TikTok or Instagram, I would always, always, always film horizontally. And the reason for that being is if you go to put that video onto YouTube or onto your website, you're going to have those big black lines down the side. So what I would always do, unless I know I'm only doing it for Instagram or I'm only doing it for TikTok, I would always go horizontally. And because vertically you can always swap it to square, which won't be perfect for Instagram, but it'll do a really good job. So you can actually convert it to what we would call a square format. And you can't, unfortunately, when you film vertically, you can't actually swap it out, and you'll always have those big black lines. So I would think carefully about where you want to put that video and then go from there. But I would always be very, very tempted to go horizontal because I know I'm safe. I can always convert it to square if I need to, but if I want to put it on my website or I want to put it on YouTube, I don't end up with the big black lines. It also is harder to edit if you film vertically, because if you think about it, you're only getting a very small piece of the scene. So if I want to zoom in or I want to do something, I don't have much to work with. Whereas if I've got a horizontal viewpoint, I can zoom in and move things around a little bit, and I have a little bit more space to work with. So again, it does depend where you're putting it, but important. Let's see. Next. So rule of thirds is also really, really important. Most mobile phones will allow you to turn on grid lines. So if you just go into your settings and you choose grid lines, it will bring up a grid a bit like the image I have on here. And actually what I did want to mention is, which I didn't in the last slide, is thinking about your mobile phone settings. So I wouldn't be filming in anything less than 1080p. So if you go into your phone settings and it shows you the different file sizes you can film in, you'd be wanting to choose 1080p. If you can do 4K, brilliant. But it will use up a lot of your storage on your phone. So if you don't have a big, massive storage on your phone, you might not want to use 4K. But 1080p, definitely not less than that, because you'll start to lose quality. And what will happen is if you do want to zoom in or you want to do something, it will become very pixelated. And if you think about the social media networks as well, they will compress it a little bit more even when you put it on 1080p. So I wouldn't go lower than that if you can avoid it. I know you can't always, but if you can. So if you turn on those grid lines, again, it just makes for a little bit more interesting shot. Where the lines cross in the frame are good places to put something of interest, whether that be a person or an object or a product. So you can position their head or their body over these grid lines, and it just means that you can get something a wee bit more interesting than always just in the center of the shot, especially if there's stuff happening behind you that you want people to see. You can center along one of those lines and it will just help you with that positioning. I would always suggest shooting a 5-second test before you go into your full video. And the reason for that is it will allow you time to test your sound, to test your audio, to test your lighting, to test your setting, and to make sure everything is working. There's nothing worse than going into a video and doing 10 or 15 minutes of talking. And believe me, I'm speaking from experience. I've done this. I'm realizing that there's something weird happening in the background, or that your mic isn't on, or something has happened, and you've just wasted all of that time. So really, really important to have a wee think about just doing that 5-second test. And especially if you're filming on your own, you don't always have people to see what your positioning is like. So you're having to maybe do a little bit of testing to see where you are on camera, making sure you've got that headroom and everything else. And back to using a variety of clips to tell the story. So, once you get a little bit more experienced with using video, can you just, put in some clips of the product, you talking, a few more clips, give people a little bit of variety, and back to that movement and those different types of shots. Instead of just having it really, really static. Although static is great for starting out, then you can build upon that as you go. You'll be glad to know I am nearly finished. So tools for filming. Again, people ask me, what sort of tools do you need? You don't really need anything. A mobile phone's good, but I wanted to just talk about stabilizing, because to me, that's probably the most important tool that you'll want to have. is, so the first thing is, if you've no tools whatsoever, and you don't have anything that you can balance your phone on, and you're filming and you're moving, the best thing to do is to use both your hands, because again, the temptation is we're all into selfie mode now, where we're taking phones and we've one phone in the hand, but you don't get the same stabilization. So I would always film two hands, lock your elbows into your body, and it will give you a lot more stable a shot. So if you're holding your phone like this, and even try it yourself, so you're doing this and filming, completely different the shot you get with two hands, nice and solid, hands on the phone, and then you can move. And I would always move from the hips as well. So it gives you a lot of movement, but also a lot of stability. If you have other things, use things like chairs, desks, tables. You might want to invest on in a very cheap tripod. And what you can get for your tripod is then a little connector that will connect your mobile phone onto it. There are also things like stabilizers, which you'll see in the slide there. Again, not overly expensive, but depending on what you want to use them for, these are great. This is a DJI Osmo. And again, we have a few tutorials and things on those if we can signpost you to. Great if you do a lot of movement. So if you're filming while walking, or filming coming into rooms, or filming a lot of movement, again, can make the shot almost look seamless. And I've used those in lots of different occasions and work really, really well. Or you can get something like a camera cage. So if you do need to have a mic and a light, like an LED, the camera cage will allow you to connect all of that. And you end up with just a wee setup with your phone in the middle, light on the top, and a wee mic as well if you need to. But again, none of these are overly expensive, and all very, very helpful if you're going to be doing a lot of moving around. If you're going to be just filming that's a little bit more static, you probably don't even need to really think about them. Okay, and back to the question somebody had asked before about how long do you think a video should be? So this is just a bit of a slide to think about the different social media networks that we have out there, and where we'll be putting those videos and why would we be making them within there. So LinkedIn, we're looking at around a maximum of 10 minutes of video, but recommended 3 to 5 minutes. LinkedIn, you probably have a slightly bigger, longer window, because people generally are on there, they want to be educated, they want to learn. The attention span will be a little bit longer. So if you do have a video that you really want to talk a lot more around the benefits and the services of your services, or how people are using your products, and you want to do something a little bit longer, LinkedIn is really good. LinkedIn's great for your B2B market, your decision makers, people that you want to sell to, and really think about, those targeting those people and building up your LinkedIn network. So if it is the marketing manager in a business that buys your services, if it is the facilities manager in a business, start to connect with those people, and then they get to see your content. And so LinkedIn probably has the highest length in terms of a video for social media. Instagram, obviously, you've loads of different options. You've got your Instagram Grid, which is your 60 seconds. You've got Instagram TV, which can be up to 15 minutes or an hour if you're going to be using or a bit longer if you're going to be uploading through desktop. And then you've got your Instagram Reels, which are your 15 to 90 seconds as well. So you've got loads on your stories. You've got loads of different options there. Again, if you wanted to, for example, back to the person that asked me the question earlier, if you wanted to do a longer video, and this is what I would suggest, and I'll get to that in a minute. If you wanted to do a longer video that was a bit more tutorial based, or was it a little bit longer instead of, around 2 to 3 minutes, a really good way of being able to get around that sort of Instagram and TikTok and the shorter versions is to do a very short version, like a little just intro sentence, and then signpost over to the network or to the website where the longer version is. So for example, I was putting this video tutorial up on YouTube, I would be saying, doing an Instagram cut or a Twitter cut or a TikTok cut, and I would say, hi guys, today I was doing a video marketing and production course sorry, let me do that again. So I say, today guys, today I'm doing video marketing and production. It's a full hour course all around, all the different things you'll need to know. Why not pop over to my YouTube channel and check out the longer version? So you're just doing a shorter version to give people that wee bit of a teaser or a taster, and then you lead into the longer version later on. So it's not to stop you doing a longer version, but also getting the benefits of those other social networks where it possibly doesn't work to do that longer version. Facebook, again, a wee bit longer than Instagram. You've probably got 60 to 90 seconds. Stories are 1 second to 120 seconds. Facebook, I would always say captions, please, if you can get them on there. So subtitles or captions. I think the stat is that 85% of people on Facebook watch the videos with the sound turned off. So if you're doing a lot of talking in the video, definitely subtitles or captions on there, because people will not engage with it otherwise. Website depends on the subject, and the same with YouTube. So anything goes on YouTube. People are willing to watch long form content. So if you want to do something longer, a tutorial or a slightly longer video, YouTube, everything goes on there. In fact, YouTube loves long form content, absolutely loves it. So if you think about how people watch YouTube, they'll be binging on episodes, they'll be on there watching things to learn, they'll do shorts as well. So you've got YouTube shorts too. And so YouTube, you've got a lot more variety. And if you're doing your longer videos, it's probably your website and your YouTube channel that you're putting on there, and then doing the teasers on the other networks to I suppose signpost to there. So you've got Twitter as well, 140 seconds, and then TikTok you've got your 15 seconds, which now goes up to 10 minutes, which is great. But again, it depends on the subject. If it's something short and sharp on TikTok, it works really, really well. So make sure you think about what your subject matter is. And I've seen TikTok videos that go up to 10 minutes and it's they don't work because the subject matter isn't meaty enough for the 10 minutes. So I would say if you're on TikTok, to try and keep it nice and short and sharp if you can. And of course, all those different audiences on there. So LinkedIn, you're talking your B2B, your decision makers, quite targeted. Facebook, you're talking a lot wider. You've got a bigger audience there. You can't target your audience as much unless you're running ads, but again, very valuable in terms of reach. Website imperative, so important, and I'll talk about that in the next slide. YouTube, again, missed opportunity from most businesses. They feel that unless you're a YouTuber, you don't need a YouTube channel. You do, because it is the second biggest search engine in the world, and I can't reiterate that enough. So important to think about those in terms of those channels and repurposing those videos, because those videos can go on to all those different places. You don't need to make different videos for LinkedIn, different videos for Instagram, different videos for website. That can be the same video with little bits cut out of it or repurposed for each channel. This is my last slide. You'll be glad to know. So video marketing. So what do we do with those videos? Yes, we've got all those social media channels, which is brilliant, but is there other places we can put them? So embed in your website, really, really important. Don't upload videos natively if you can avoid it. And what I mean by that is just upload them directly to the website. If you upload directly to the website, because a video file is very big, it will slow down the speed of your website, which will also affect your ranking in Google. So embed, so that's the beauty of putting it into your YouTube channel, embedding from YouTube into your website, and you're getting the benefit of both worlds. One of the key ranking factors in Google is time on a website. So the longer people spend on a website, the longer people spend on a website, the better Google sees it. They say, right, people are loving this content, it must be a good website. Video is the easiest way of keeping people on your website a little bit longer. So any video that you've got on your YouTube or your social media, try and get it into your blogs or onto your pages on your website. Share it on social media. And what I mean by that is not just put it up, but actually share it across your different networks. Encourage other people to share it as well. Go back after 3 or 4 months, reshare it again. So don't just think about a video as a one-off and then you shared it and that's it. Remember, social media networks now the person that sees it today will be different to the person who sees it tomorrow, which will be a different person the next day. So don't overshare, but think about maybe a schedule where you might be sharing a video every couple of months, and don't be afraid to share the same video again. Next one, adding a link to your video in your LinkedIn profile. Again, you can put videos in your LinkedIn profile. Don't miss that opportunity. Embed the video in other sites like your Facebook and your Twitter covers. Again, a really good way of just getting videos out there. Could you add your latest video to your email signature so that, again, people can see your new products, your new services? So a great way of getting that out there. Back to the share and reshare. Don't be afraid to that. And then title appropriately with keywords. So think about, again, your video titles, especially on the likes of YouTube. What are people searching for? Don't be writing obscure titles that people are never going to find. Think about your product and your service and what people would be searching for, and title it appropriately so that it meets that criteria. And Google can say, right, okay, hold on, somebody's looking for X, Y, and Z. That video is about X, Y, and Z. Match them up, show them the video. So that's me stopping for now. And I'm going to lead into if anyone's got any questions. That would be perfect. Hopefully you find it useful and be interesting to see all these videos. But I'll stop talking and see if there's any questions. And there's a survey there has popped up as well, and just to see get some insights into what might be required going forward. So thank you all for listening. Hope you find it useful. And as ever, if you do have any questions afterwards, you can contact myself or Kieran as well. So I will stop talking now, as promised. Okay, I don't know if there's any other questions, so I will hand back over to the team. And thank you so much again. I hope you find it useful, and again, looking forward to seeing some of those videos. Do feel free to tag us and share them with us as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michelle.
Second.
Yes, now you should be hearing me. Thank you very much for the session, and thanks for our participants who followed us today. I think we could respond all of the questions, and thank you very much. We will be sharing the video soon with everyone. Also, please note that we will come back on 3rd of January with a new workshop. We will be announcing it soon. And meanwhile, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us. We have reviewed the poll results, the survey results from the questions that we have been asking in the last 3 webinars. And we will be offering those services for our participants. So please follow us on social media and follow our emails. We will be informing you soon on the new workshops coming. Thank you very much, Michelle and Kieran. See you later. Bye-bye.